All right, so Stefanos Tsitsipas is switching from Wilson Blade to a Babolat Pure Aero 98. How crazy it sounds. So for me personally, this is one of the biggest tennis rackets changes on the professional tour I have ever witnessed, and I need to talk about it because it also gives us an opportunity to somehow think about whether we as amateurs use the right rackets. But let's talk about Stefanos Tsitsipas, why he did the change, what is behind the change, and why this might be the best kind of decision of his professional career. So, Blade version 998 is a racket that you can buy in the 16x19. It is not the racket that Stefanos is using for sure. He was using some of the customized Blade Pro rackets that are a lot different compared to the stock or standard consumer-oriented blades. And in comparison, we have Babolat Pure Aero 98. I will just compare these two rackets. I will not compare the rackets I don't know nothing about, but I will just compare these types so we can connect with Stefanos and what he did and what is the benefit from this switch. So the switching of rackets in professional tennis is becoming more and more popular, as we have seen with Andy Murray at the end of his career. He switched from a Radical to Yonex E-Zone 100. But, Murray, 37 years old, Stefanos Tsitsipas, 26 years old. So Stefanos has many, many years in front of him, and truly this switch is not to, hugely improve his kind of comfort, but we will talk about the comfort, because what he says in the interview, when was asked a question about the new racket, he actually talked about the increase in comfort, but in a little bit different way than you might think. So Andy Murray, one of the biggest changes of career, but in a different type of situation at the end of his career. And recently, Madison Keys switched from E-Zone 100 to E-Zone 98. This is also a different type of switch, from a bigger head size to smaller head size, for more control, precision, and pop, and overall higher performance of the racket. And this, when we just compare this switch to the other switches that I have mentioned, this is just a little bit different, guys. So this is here to relieve the pressure that was constantly put on Stefanos Tsitsipas when he was playing the most important and most difficult matches. And we have seen this many times. He played in a way that was somehow uncomfortable for him. But what I mean by that, when you are in the most crucial moments in a tennis match, and you need to focus also on your racket, let's say, not only on your racket, but on how you prepare yourself to use the racket during the rally properly, then the blade was, in my opinion, putting Tsitsipas into a corner, let's say. So he was put under pressure from the racket itself, which we know that Blade Pro just is a very demanding racket that is very muted, and if you want to generate some power, you need to be there. You need to hit early, you need to hit everything correctly. You need to time your shot perfectly, and so on and so on. So the Blade Pro is actually one of the most kind of demanding rackets also to use, and it requires you do everything well. But as we can see, Tsitsipas got kind of fed up or tired of this, just constantly proving and making everything perfectly. And now he's trying the Pure Aero 98, which just gives him more overall comfort. And that's also what he mentioned in the interview. So when asked by some interviewer about his new racket, what does he benefit, or where is the benefit? Where does he see the benefit of this racket? He replied, comfort. And you might be thinking, comfort like arm comfort or what? What is it all about? Why comfort? Why not something else? And he continued, like the comfort in playing and hitting the ball in a more relaxed way that gives him not only the extra power and spin and stability, but also the sweet spot of the Pure Aero 98 is bigger. So the racket is more forgiving, and he means by comfort, he means like comfort, like he doesn't need to focus always on the racket, but he can focus on the strategy, on the placement, or where he goes next with the shot, and he can somehow drive the game in his direction and not only wait for, let's say, the opponent. So sometimes during Tsitsipas matches, I felt like the racket is for him so unforgiving that he hit lots of, frames. He hits lots of frames with his with his one-handed backhand, and voila! Now with the Pure Aero 98, he is flawless. He can step in the court. He can hit early as Sinner does. He can kill the ball every single time. And he is there not to wait, but he is there to attack every single ball. And that's the huge difference between the Blade and the Pure Aero 98. So just the specs, if you look at the specifications of the Blade version 998 16x19, beam 21 millimeters, swing weight 324, RA 62, now Pure Aero 98, beam, variable beam 21, 23, 22 millimeters, swing weight a little bit lower 321, stiffness higher 66, balance 315 for the Pure Aero, blade 320, more into the head. So the Pure Aero is also manageable, is more maneuverable, it is easier to use, you can accelerate the racket better. So you don't need to time your shots that perfectly. You just can accelerate the racket like mid-air. You can make adjustments to the swing path anytime you decide to do, but not with the blade. So these benefits can possibly change Tsitsipas' performance and kick him into another level. It can step up his game. It can be 5%, 10%, but with this high level of tennis, the confidence and the kind of comfort that you can kill the ball and go for it every single time, and you are not afraid of doing some mistake with your footwork or something like that, it is huge. So guys, this is a revolution, I would say, and I believe more of the pro players will go in path of Tsitsipas and other players who are chasing the perfect setup. They are fiddling with not only the frames but also the strings. The strings are developing in a huge way, and also tension is dropping down. And we all know why is this happening, because tennis balls are getting slower, tennis courts are getting slower, and if you want to stay in a game as fast and as aggressive as possible, you just need a weapon in your hand, not a tool. So blade is a tool, Pure Aero is a weapon, And this is such a big contrast that I did not expect anything like this that would happen, but I can understand it now. And just don't be afraid, experiment. Pro players should experiment. Try more setups, try more rackets. Maybe they are playing whole life with the wrong racket and they just don't want to admit it. They just want to stick with the racket because of, various reasons. I don't know, maybe sponsorship is good. Maybe they play really well with the racket when they are in their prime or in the best, in the best possible mood and the best possible performance. But when you are slightly off with your performance, you have just a little bit bad day, let's say, then you need a racket that also helps you. So this switch is huge, it is crazy, and let me know in the comments, what do you think about it? I'm hyped about this because I like changes. Life is a continuous change. There should be changes in life. There should be changes in how we think, how we process the things around, how we process the world. So this is so interesting, and I'm really happy about this. Really happy for Stefanos, and it is refreshing to see something like that, and it can truly help him. It can actually only help him. It cannot get worse. He can always go back for the blade, but it seems like he found a kind of holy grail for his game, and I hope we will see the best Tsitsipas in the future. Now, I think more players like Rublev, Zverev, de Minaur, these players kind of, in my opinion, also struggle with their rackets. Maybe something is kind of blocking them in going kind of further above their shadow. They are always, they somehow peak, they play really well, and then there is this kind of decline. It can be mental, but also it can come from the equipment itself. So I don't think Zverev is using a right racket for him. I don't think Rublev is using a right racket for him. I know gravities are great, but what if they should use Technifibers? What if they should use Yonex rackets? You don't never know. Maybe they will benefit from it. So there are lots of options nowadays in today's world. New rackets, new racket brands, new string setups, new ideas. So don't stay on a kind of on a constant level when you can go further, you can go up, you can just go better by experimenting with things. And that comes from a guy who played during my, let's say, 30 years of tennis, or 25 years of tennis, of higher level tennis. I have played with 6 different rackets in 25 years. So I don't know if it is too much, but I don't think so. I just started, let's say, experimenting with tennis rackets in the last 5 years. So yeah, before it was a Babolat Pure Drive, like 20 years. Before it was some Fischer racket, and before it was some child kinder racket, like junior racket, I don't know which. So not many rackets in my catalog, in my history, but now I'm trying different type of rackets, and it's also fun. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about the switch? Is it a good switch? How crazy it is? What do you think about it? Because it can't get any crazier than it is, but it's understandable, as I mentioned, the benefits. And of course, if you want to become my member, just click the join button for 99 cents. You will receive all my premium reviews, final reviews, ultimate reviews 1 week prior to the public release. You will also get a special badge. So when you comment under my videos, I will see those comments. If there is a question, I will answer this question. And you can also support my channel by clicking the super thanks button, clicking on the buy me a coffee platform, and going on PayPal and send me some of your love through a donation. And you can ask me a donation question. That's the benefit, that if you do something for me, I will do something back for you. So ask me a question in the comments or write me an email on the czechtennisguy@gmail.com, and I will give you my most honest and most detailed answer as possible. So guys, that's all for now. Crazy switch, Tsitsipas. I'm holding thumbs now for him, although I'm not a big fan of Babolat Pure Aeros or the new Pure drives, as you know, but it's live, and I highly encourage other players kind of try to find their way to get better. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, enjoy tennis, play tennis, watch tennis every time, every day, and don't forget to enjoy the manooovrlbity. Bye guys.